three eyes. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. 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 Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda परमशिवोऽहम् ॐ नित्यानन्द परमशिवोऽहम् ॐ नित्यानन्द
नित्यानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि. नित्यानन्दं, welcoming all of the Sannyas initiates for this day 3 of the Sannyas orientation program. Yes, requesting all the Sannyas initiates to please turn on your cameras and please be seated. Actually, Swamiji says beautifully that whenever you want to imbibe the sacred truths or be in the space of authentic listening, to sit in Padmasana and with the Samana Mudra. So, requesting all of the initiates to please sit in Padmasana. And actually, the more and more you sit in Padmasana, the more and more you start getting comfortable with sitting in Padmasana. Yes, this goes to all the viewers watching us live also on all our social media platforms. Okay, wonderful. Yesterday, actually, we had I gave all of you homework to write down how you envision your life changing after the sannyas initiation. So we discussed about how in the last session we discussed about how the whole outer world, when you are in the Maya matrix, how everything is fake, and whether it's health, whether it's education, whether it's the any aspect of your life, your relationships, how everything is only fake. But once you take sannyas, you start becoming the authentic version of yourself. And actually, all of us, when we do the sannyas causing today, actually, when I was doing the sannyas causing for a new sannyas initiate, I just wanted to share this because it's actually a question in many of our minds. The new sannyas initiate was asking me, or the to be sannyas initiate, he was asking that once I take sannyas, what will happen to all of my desires? Let's say I have a desire to experience, um, have the freedom to, let's say, watch movies, or I have the desire to, let's say, play video games, or just have some entertainment. What happens to those desires? Do I need to suppress them, or do I need to just brush them aside, because those desires are in me right now? What do I do? Actually, the first thing that we all need to realize is when you take sannyas, your whole inner image expands. And the closest example that I can give to this is the way that the conscious maturity happens inside of you. Let's say that when you were a kid, you wanted to play with a toy car. And when you become an adult, automatically your desires, it grows, it expands, it matures. So no more grown adult does not play with toy cars anymore, and the grown adult does not think that, oh, I had to brush aside my desire, or I had to, let's say, cover up my desire. It is the conscious maturity, the understanding that the individual goes through. Same way, even in sannyas, your each and every one of your desires, as you mature, as consciously you start living the truth that I am Paramashiva, consciously you start living the truths of integrity, authenticity, responsibility, and enriching, you start seeing that your taste matures. It is not that you need to cover your desires or you need to suppress your desires, but your desires actually consciously mature, and that is the beauty of sannyas. And it is not just your desires, every single wrong cognition that you have or the patterns that you have, all of them consciously mature, especially the sannyas initiates. Can you wave your hands if you feel that once you took sannyas, your whole taste of life has matured? Can you wave your hands if you experience this? Okay, yes, wonderful. It is because of your inner image, the image that you carry about yourself. Let's say when before you became a sannyasi, you were, let's say, a gamer, and at that time, the inner image that you carried about yourself, or let's say that you worked in a software company, the inner image that you carried about yourself, every single inner image or thought that you carry, that I am who I am or what I think about myself, it automatically matures because of what you think about yourself now is I am Paramashiva. And no more you operate from the lower level cognitions or the ideas, the lower ideas that you carry about yourself. And that is the beauty of sannyas, is you start feeling responsible not just for yourself but for the whole world. And when your inner space expands, not just about yourself, not just about your home, not just about your society, but the you start becoming responsible for the whole world itself. Like Swamiji was expanding the other day about sannyas, that a selfish person only cares about himself, and let's say a householder, a grihastha, he cares about himself and his family. And let's say a brahmana cares about himself, his family, and let's say doing the temple rituals or for the benefit of his community. But as sannyasis, we are above all of these levels. We are above all the four varnas because we are the ones that even guide all of the four varnas. That is why, even in the Vedic times, all the kings, even though they are the kings of the various kingdoms and they are the most powerful people, they have a sannyasi who guides them. For example, in the Shyamala Pitha, Sarvangapita, the kingdom of Madurai, there is of course, the sovereign who is the king of the Pandya Empire, but the king has the Guru Mahasannidhanam, the guru who guides the king into doing the day to day activities. And that is why a sannyasi is not just bound by the four varnas, which is the Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Brahmana, but is even more higher than the Brahmana himself, who guides all the four varnas, who guides the whole society. Yes, we have an initiate who is writing that I upgraded from digital adventures in games to real adventures as a sannyasi. Of course, it's true. Many of us, actually, all of us realize that um, in, let's say, in video games, we go from one level to another level and we upgrade ourselves or your character in the video game. But in sannyas, you actually upgrade yourself. You can actually see yourself upgrading and moving to the next levels of your own being. And whether it is the powers that you acquire or whether it is the conscious competence that you build inside of you. The other day, beautifully, Swamiji was saying about building the conscious competence. And when you are sannyasi, automatically that competence gets built inside of you. For example, when you have to enrich another sannyasi, you have to build the competence of enriching, which is basically connecting with the other person. You cannot be closed, you cannot be um, in the normal outer world, I think they call it like an introvert. You can never be an introvert when you're a sannyasi. You have to have that powerful inner image. You need to express yourself as Swamiji, as Paramashiva, embodying Swamiji in your thoughts, your words, and your actions. So, whether it is building the competence of expanding yourself and embodying Swamiji, or whether it's the competence of public speaking. Many of us, um, before becoming sannyasis, let's say we had stage fear, or we did not like to speak in the public or in front of cameras. No more all of those thought currents which bind you can exist anymore, because as a sannyasi today, like how I am conducting the session for all of you, tomorrow you're going to be on this side conducting the same session for hundreds and thousands of sannyasis, your juniors, who are going to come and become a part of kailasa. So that is the competence that you're going to build inside of you. And of course, when you're a sannyasi, when you enrich others, you need to know the shastras, the to give the shastra pramana. For example, the Bhagavad Gita or the Vedas, Agamas, and Upanishads. You need to build the competence to learn all of these so you can quote when you enrich the other person. For example, let's say a person is asking about, will I really be successful in sannyas? And at that time, you should give the Shastra Pramana, the Apta Pramana of the greatest sannyasis like Bhagavan Vivekananda or so many sannyasis, and of course, the living example of sannyas, our beloved Swamiji. So you need to have the competence in so many of these areas when you are embodying Swamiji and when you are experiencing sannyas. And of course, when you do all of these activities and when you expand your inner space so much, automatically the small desires, like let's say playing video games, automatically drops. It is not that you have to control yourself from playing video games or watching movies or having the lower level entertainment, because you not only you do not you understand why you need that entertainment and why actually you do not need that entertainment anymore, but you actually even know the source of the chemical reactions that are happening in you, whether it's the dopamine just by playing video games, or you like the adrenaline rush when you play the video games or watch a movie. You understand that those are just chemical reactions that are happening inside of you, and it does not affect you anymore when you actually look at it and when you consciously remove that from your system. So, are all the initiates following till now? Can you wave your hands? Okay, wonderful. All the sannyas initiates in Kailasa, Kashi, can you come back to the camera, and can you also make sure that your lighting is proper so we can see you clearly? Okay, wonderful. So today I want all of the initiates to actually write down when we are looking about the desires that come up, which you feel that you are not able to let go before you took up sannyas and after you took up sannyas, how those desires just dropped inside of you. I want all the initiates to write this down. Take a few moments and just internalize about the desires which you had inside of you before you took sannyas. And after you took sannyas, automatically you just saw it loses power over you. It can be any desire, whether it is even related to your habits. Like before sannyas, if you were addicted to drinking caffeine, if you had to drink coffee every single morning to keep yourself awake, to be active, and once you took up sannyas, automatically, I'm sure the only thing that we need to keep ourselves active is Swamiji himself, with the level, with the amount of vision that Swamiji gives each and every one of us. That itself is our caffeine. Of course, not reducing Swamiji's vision to just comparing it to caffeine, but that's our inspiration. No more we need a external chemical or external food or medicine to awaken the inspiration, awaken us to be alive. But just remembering Swamiji's vision for us keeps us alive, active, and continuously running 24 by 7. So write down what are your desires that you had before sannyas, and once you took up sannyas, how those desires just melted away. We also have an initiate who is messaging that even when the desire comes up, I recognize it as being cheap and just drop it at Swamiji's feet. Yes, that is the conscious maturity, conscious competence that you build inside of yourself. That even when these incompletions come up, you are able to recognize it as a pattern, recognize it as an incompletion, and drop the incompletion at Swamiji's feet. And that itself actually is a competence by itself. The ability to recognize the patterns that come up in us. Many times, when we have patterns inside of us, you start indulging in the patterns, not even realizing that you're actually indulging in them. For example, you start taking it as a routine. When you wake up in the morning, you go grab a cup of coffee and then you start your day. But you don't realize that you are every day consciously cherishing that impulsive desire to take that cup of coffee and allow something as small as coffee to either dictate your mood, what mood you're going to be in, or dictate the energy level inside of you, or dictate the inspiration that you have inside of you. And coffee is just one example. It can either be something like physical, like coffee, or it can even be a mental state, as Swamiji beautifully says about the 25 states of consciousness. Sometimes we feel that, let's say, the time after lunch, when you eat lunch, and let's say you eat lunch around 12 or 1 p.m., and you start feeling tamasic from after eating lunch. And that is just a state of mind. but you start making it a pattern and you start thinking that, oh, I'm like this is who I am. Don't bother me uh, after I eat lunch because I'm really not active at that time. You start believing that you can get influenced just by the mood swings that you create for yourself from your patterns. Instead of you actually being in control of your inner space, of really who you are and what you want to do, you start allowing, whether it is external factors like coffee or people, or internal factors like your own state of your inner space, the patterns that you have influence you. So look inside and write down, what are these desires that you had before taking up sannyas, and how it is dropped after you took sannyas. And you're able to even identify these patterns. All the sannyas initiates can even give examples in Zoom and also on social media. Yes. So I also wanted to share another question, which today I was talking to uh, a sannyas applicant who wanted to take up sannyas, and he was asking about, what if I'm not able to fulfill the responsibility? You are saying that sannyasis are responsible for the whole world, but what if I'm not able to fulfill that responsibility? Actually, when you look inside the sannyas lifestyle, it is no more, you do not feel the burden of responsibility, rather, you feel empowered by responsibility. For example, let's say in your job, when you're in the outer world, responsibility is equated to the, let's say, the amount of salary that you get. If you are responsible of a larger team, a larger group of people, you get more salary, you get more benefits. If you want to be responsible for a smaller team or a smaller group of people, you get a smaller salary. And responsibility is quantified based on the economic compensation or the salary or the greed. Is it is not driven by inspiration, rather it's driven by greed or fear. But when you take sannyas, in the lifestyle of sannyas, as we were seeing in yesterday's session, there can never be any greed or fear, because you know that you are Paramashiva. And when you are Paramashiva, you cannot have the greed for anything, because you know that you can just manifest whatever you want. So nobody can shake you, or no situation can shake you by greed. And of course, there's no fear, because you know that when you are Paramashiva, no one can move you by threatening you or blackmailing you or gaslighting you. And you know that you cannot be shaken by fear, and no one can make you get scared of anything, because you know what is the reality, and you know how to navigate any situation, you know how to complete with anything that life or anyone throws at you. So when you are a sannyasi, you cannot be swayed by either greed or fear. And so the responsibility that happens inside of you is purely from that space of course, that space of Guru Bhakti, love for Swamiji, and to share the enriching, share this beautiful message, take Kailasa to the whole world. And that is what is the root cognition of responsibility. So I was explaining to the new sannyas applicant that no more you need to be scared of responsibility, because responsibility is no more greed or fear, therefore a burden. Rather, responsibility is only a way that you can show your Guru Bhakti to Swamiji, your conscious competence, to show your integrity and authenticity to Swamiji. So I also want all of the sannyas initiates to look inside and write down that what do you think are the responsibilities that come with the title of a sannyasi, and what are the responsibilities that you want to enjoy being a sannyasi yourself. For example, you would have a deep desire and the deep yearning that I want to become an acharya, let's say. I'm sure all of us know about the Paramashivoham program which is going on, the level 1, level 2, and level 3, and even the Paramashiva Sena program which is going on. And if you want to become an acharya to conduct these kind of programs and take responsibility of being an acharya, because being an acharya is actually one of the most intense responsibilities, because an acharya needs to live what he is saying. So only then will people actually connect with what you are saying. You cannot be living with non integrity and telling all the participants to come. If you don't do yoga morning at 4:30, you cannot actually enrich the participants to come to the yoga session at 4:30 in the morning, because you can only connect to their problems only when you yourself experience those incompletions or patterns, and that will happen only when you live the lifestyle. So in yoga is just one example, but same way, if you do not practice the completion in every single moment of your day, you cannot actually express and teach the completion to anybody else. Like this, in every aspect of your life, when you start becoming responsible, when you start taking responsibility, it is first you living so you can start enriching. Well, actually, I wanted to share one of my experience when Swamiji, when we were in the Gurukul, Swamiji actually trained us and made us the Gurukul Palasans responsible for the whole temple, the Adi Kailash temple, and actually the global temples itself. And at that time, of course, it was very fun, but at the same time, a very intense training to take care of the deities. And this, of course, it was very fun, but when we are in the temple, it is literally, Swamiji says that any other department is okay, but when it comes to the temple, Swamiji is so meticulous to every single happening that happens, whether it is the way we dress the deities, how we do the alankar to the deities, or the way that we do the rituals, our body language when we do the rituals, or it is the mantras, the way that we do the chanting. Swamiji is so meticulous about every single thing that happens in the temple. And when Swamiji told all of us, all the Gurukul Balasans, to take up to run the temple, actually, when you run the temple, you actually run the whole ecosystem. Because when you run the temple, you need to run the Annalaya, the kitchen for providing the Naivedyam, the food offerings to the deities. When you run the temple, you have to also do the enriching, where you enrich the volunteers to come for the various festivals. And when you run the temple, you have to do, of course, do the causing. where you raise, you cause people for the pujas and offerings and rituals, the homas that are happening. And when you run the temple, you take care of the goshala, where you need to get the fresh milk for offering to the deities. And when you run the temple, you run the sacred arts university, where the part of the Adinam, which takes care of providing the chariots for the deities, making new deities, and literally, when you take care, and of course the Gurukul, when you take care of temple, the people, the Balasans who come and do the ritual in the temple are the Balasans from the Gurukul. So when you take care of the temple, you literally take care of the whole ecosystem. And that is what Swamiji blessed all of us Balasans to take care of, is the temple, Adi Kailash temple itself, and the global temples across the globe. And when we took care of the temple, one of the most important aspect that Swamiji told all of us is that Swamiji told us that we need to learn every single aspect of the temple, whether it's the alankar, whether it's the pujas, the homas, the chanting, the providing all of the chariots, knowing how to make the chariots, make the deities, not because we are going to be doing this our whole life, but because we have to enrich and make it happen in all of the Kailasas across the globe. And that is what is responsibility. When you are responsible, you are automatically, only when you live the truths, only when you are responsible, when you have that feeling of responsibility, the enriching will become successful. Whether it is being an acharya, or whether it is being a pujacharya, whether it's being a sannyasi, only if you live the authentic lifestyle of sannyas, you can even cause the new sannyasis. Otherwise, if you know that you yourself are inauthentic, you don't do the yoga every day, you don't do the daily puja, you cannot even, you will not even have the authenticity to speak about yoga and puja to the new sannyasis. That is why being an acharya, being a sannyasi is actually one and the same, where you have to live Paramashivoham. You have to live the state, space, powers, being, and super consciousness of Paramashiva. And only then you can even express that to the new sannyasis and to the whole world. And that is what is authenticity. When you are authentic, automatically you start being responsible. And when you are responsible, you start enriching yourself and others around you. So I want all of the sannyas initiates to write down that when you adorn the being a sannyasi, at that time, what are the responsibilities do you believe that come with this sannyas lifestyle? Or what are the responsibilities that you want to take up by being a sannyasi? It might be any responsibility. And even actually, just few days ago, Swamiji was talking about the various sabhas. Of course, when we are a sannyasi, we are part of the Nityananda Sabha itself, of the Parliament of Kailasa. And not just the Nityananda Sabha, but even the Kanaka Sabha or the Rajya Sabha, where in the Kanaka Sabha, it is you taking the responsibility for the wealth of the Hindus worldwide. And when you're in the Rajya Sabha, it is you taking responsibility of the Hindus themselves, creating the Paramashiva Sena, creating the enriching for people to become part, give their time to stand up as warriors for Kailasa. And actually, all of the sannyas initiates should know that as Swamiji was saying about the story of the Naga sadhus in Kumbh Mela, where the Naga sadhus stood up against the Mughal emperors and they showed their authenticity not just by words but by actually giving their life physically, giving their life for standing up for Hinduism. And that is why today all of us are able to enjoy, whether it's the Kashi Vishwanath temple or even the Sannyas tradition itself. Otherwise, the Mughal emperors would have destroyed all of the temples and all of the sannyasis also. But it is because of the Naga sadhus that it is not just the Shastras that they fought with, but they took up the actual Shastras, the weapons, and stood up for Hinduism. And that is what, when you take up sannyas, that is what you need to embody. That is the ferociousness that you need to carry inside of yourself and carry it as your outer image. Being ferocious and being not being a reluctant warrior, as Swamiji beautifully words it, but you actually standing up for Swamiji, standing up for Kailasa, and going all out. And this does not mean that only if somebody, let's say, is demolishing a temple, speaking against that person, and being ferocious with that person. But even in your day-to-day life, you being ferocious with, let's say, your brother sannyasi not coming for the morning yoga, or being lazy to do the morning yoga, or not being interested to do the daily morning puja. And this ferociousness is not just, of course, it is you expressing it in every aspect, in you radiating this ferociousness. It is not just that you need to stand up for the people who are against Hinduism, but you need to stand up for the Hindus who are reluctant, and for that, you should not be a reluctant warrior yourself. And that is the real responsibility of a sannyasi. Swamiji beautifully says that for reviving Hinduism, we do not need money, we do not need more volunteers, we do not need uh, any revolution. The only thing that we need to revive Hinduism is sannyasis. Because when you are a sannyasi, you have no other goal than your integrity to the Guru, your integrity to the Sangha, your integrity to the Linga. And when I'm sure all of you know about the vows of sannyas, and once you take the vow of integrity, authenticity, responsibility, and enriching, and the five vows of sannyas, your integrity, that commitment that you give is to the Guru, the Linga, and the Sangha, which is the Guru is, of course, Swamiji. The Linga is the principles, that the lineage that you become part of, and the Sangha, which is Kailasa itself. And these are the three main entities that you give your commitment to. So when you have the responsibility, your responsibility is not just towards one aspect, or responsibility, I will be responsible for uh, making sure that for the yoga, making sure the yoga session goes well. That is not the responsibility of a sannyasi. Making sure that yoga happens, even let's say an acharya in the yoga studio can make sure that yoga happens. The real responsibility is your integrity to the Guru, Linga, and Sangha, and your responsibility to make sure the Guru, Linga, and Sangha aligning yourself and aligning your the whole world to these three. So how many of you are following till now? Can you wave your hands? Okay, wonderful. So look inside and write. How many of you finished writing down about your desires? The desires that you felt you had before you became a sannyasi, and after you becoming a sannyasi, automatically those desires dropped. How many of you finished writing? Can you wave your hands? Okay. So the next exercise for all of the initiates is for you to write down what are the responsibilities that you want to take up as a sannyasi, and what do you think is the responsibility of a sannyasi. Okay, we also have one initiate who is sharing that I want to take up the responsibility of enriching more and more sannyasis. Yes, of course. One of the most, like we were sharing, I was sharing yesterday, the how the Swamiji beautifully says that the potency of a man is measured by how many childrens he can have, how many children he can procreate. Same way as sannyasis, the potency of a sannyasi is how many sannyasis we can cause, how many people's lives we can enrich for them to take up this lifestyle of sannyas, which actually needs a lot of the conviction of yourself, how sannyas has completely transformed you yourself. Just sharing that and literally celebrating that in your thoughts, in your actions, in your living, only that can make you potent enough to cause another sannyasi. Because in every action of your day, whether it is I'm just giving an example of the morning yoga because the morning yoga is something that all of us do and all of us relate to. So when you do the morning yoga and when you actually see the benefits of the morning yoga, when you wake up in the morning in the Brahma Muhurta at 4:30 and when you start doing the morning yoga, automatically you see that your whole day becomes beautiful. Your whole day changes. And only when you live this, you can even enrich a new sannyasi. So, yes, having the responsibility of causing more and more sannyasis is one of the most important responsibility of a sannyasi, because only when you cause more and more sannyasis, your you can know, you can measure your involvement and your sannyas, the strength of your sannyas itself. Only if you continuously practice the powerful cognitions, practice the powerful truths, and live them in your life in every single moment, whether it's the completion, whether it is responsibility or the four tattvas, or whether it is the five vows, or whether it is any of the powerful truths, not being fake and being authentic in every aspect. Only when you live these truths as a sannyasi, only then you can even enrich a new sannyasi with all of these. And that is why having the responsibility of enriching new sannyasis is not just, you don't enrich sannyasis for Kailasa. Like Swamiji said the other day, that when I send you for causing and enriching, it is not, or when Swamiji sends us for causing and enriching, it is not for Swamiji, it is for us to experience that conscious breakthrough through causing and enriching. So, yes, as you are saying, the responsibility for causing more and more sannyasis is one of the greatest responsibility of a sannyasi. Yes, we also have another question on social media asking about, do sannyasis come to Kailasa? Yes, of course, sannyasis are part of Kailasa. Sannyasis, when you take up sannyas, yes, you can take up apat sannyas from wherever you are. But when you get initiated into the Bhautika Brahmacharya or Krama Brahmacharya, that you can, of course, you will be a Kailasavasi, you will reside, you will be called to one of our Kailasas, and you will come to Kailasa. So yes, sannyasis, when you are an apat sannyasi, you can begin with apat sannyas. When you're an apat sannyasi, you can be an apat sannyasi from wherever you are, and you can start from that level. And once you actually become a Kailasavasi, when you are, you can, to apply to become a sannyasi, you can sign up at ecitizen.info/Kailasa. That is where you can sign up to become a sannyasi. And once you sign up, we'll have the members of our sovereign order of Kailasa to call you. Our fellow sannyasis will call you and will speak to you, and you can then, with Swamiji's blessings, jump into this lifestyle of sannyas. So, yes, to address your question, yes, sannyasis do come to Kailasa. And actually, that's another beautiful aspect of sannyas, that many of us have a question, if this is the right time. Is this the right time for me to be a sannyasi, or should I wait a bit longer? Am I ready? Am I ready to be a sannyasi? Swamiji beautifully says that one, of course, it is your seeking when you know that the whole outer world, the Maya matrix, is just fake. And when you want to come out of this birth and death cycle, when you want to come out of the fakeness of the Maya matrix of the outer world, your ferocious decision to come out of the Maya is sannyas. So there is no right time to take sannyas. Of course, sannyas is given by Swamiji, by the Guru, but your decision to become a sannyasi can be instant. Where from wherever you are, as early as possible, as immediate as possible, you taking up the lifestyle of apat sannyas, and then eventually being blessed by Swamiji to actually become a sannyasi, that is the right time. So the right time to become a sannyasi is right now. That is, it is a immediate, urgent decision that you need to take in your life. Yes, we also have a viewer on YouTube who's asking, when can I visit Kailasa? Currently, Kailasa is open for sannyasis, so you can take up sannyas to visit Kailasa. Currently, Kailasa is open. Swamiji has opened the doors of Kailasa for all sannyasis. So if I would like to invite you to take up sannyas, and you can go to ecitizen.info/Kailasa and you can register there, so we can contact you and you can get to know the next steps of how to become a sannyasi, how you can jump into this lifestyle of sannyas. Yes, so I hope all the sannyas initiates have written down what responsibilities do you believe come with the lifestyle of sannyas. So the final concept for today, before we are coming to the end of today's session. So before we come to the end of today's session, I would like to share about the final concept of Swamiji beautifully says that when Swamiji was saying about how you need to transform yourself from being fake to being authentic. And yesterday, all of us wrote down every single incident of our life where before sannyas, how we were fake in our relationships, how we were fake in our health, how we were fake in generating wealth, how we were fake in relating with other people. But now, after taking sannyas, how when you change your inner image, your outer image, your others image, and life image, all four images of your life, and align them to that one image that I am Paramashiva, keeping it inside of you, having the inner image cognition that I am Paramashiva, and expressing it that you are Paramashiva, seeing everybody as Paramashiva around you, and them seeing you as Paramashiva. When you align all of these four images to I am Paramashiva, you start living the authenticity. And when you start living the authenticity, automatically the enriching happens, and you start seeing that as a sannyasi, not only you are able to enrich yourself, you are able to enrich hundreds of other people into giving a conscious breakthrough for them also. Especially the new sannyas initiates in Kashi. When you, not just in Kashi actually, the new sannyas initiates all over the world. When you take up the lifestyle of sannyas, you start seeing that people look up to you. And the enriching happens, you don't have to put extra effort into enriching. Whether it's the sannyas initiates in Kashi or sannyas initiates, the new sannyas initiates in other parts of the world, the the enriching itself, it just flows naturally, because when people see you, automatically they come to you and they want to learn yoga from you, or they want to have some conscious breakthrough in their life, so they come and ask you, or they come and ask you for a powerful cognition, or they come and just share their problems with you because they know that you embody Swamiji. So no more people come to you just casually. Now, when you interact with people, it is always where they come to you for just you to enrich them, whether it's the people who come to you for mental solutions, physical solutions, or just being there for them to vent their problems to you and for you to just listen and give a powerful cognition back to them. When you are a sannyasi, the responsibility you have, automatically you start enriching everybody around you. And that is the space of sannyas. As Swamiji says, that a sannyasi has to be friendly with the whole world, because that is what is Advaita. And to be a sannyasi, you have to be in oneness with the whole world, and only then you can even enrich. You can live the lifestyle of sannyas. No more you can hold grudges. No more you can be an introvert. No more you can shield yourself from people, because when you're a sannyasi, people is life, and you will be interacting with hundreds of people on a daily basis. And no more you can hold on to incompletions, or just sit in bed the whole day saying that you don't feel good, because when you are a sannyasi, you are automatically pushed to live for people, because that is what is sannyas. Sannyas is not going and retrieving yourself into the Himalayas and just meditating. Sannyas is being active and having an active lifestyle of caring and dealing with people. That is why Swamiji beautifully says that when you are a sannyas, you just by living, you start becoming an acharya, because you have so many people come to you for giving them solutions, giving them life solutions, giving them the just being there for people to share their problems with you. And that is the beauty of sannyas, that you automatically become an acharya yourself. So I want all of the sannyas initiates to commit how many new sannyasis you are going to cause for the. We are going to have the sannyas initiation on the 3rd of January on the Nityananda day. So I want all the sannyas initiates to today do the Satya Sankalpa of how many new sannyasis you are going to cause for the Nityananda Day sannyas initiation. So you can write it down, and that is the first responsibility that you are going to take in your journey of sannyas. Is, of course, now that you have freed yourself of the karmic baggage of, or freed yourself from the Maya matrix, now it's your turn to share this prasadam, this liberation, with hundreds of other people. So, as sannyasis, as new sannyas initiates, you can now type down or write down how many sannyasis you are going to cause for the Jan 3rd sannyas initiation. And actually, causing sannyasis is just sharing your experience. That's all causing sannyasis is. It is not, you do not need to know any scriptures, or you do not need to by heart a manual. You just need to share your authentic experience. And when just by sharing your experience to others, automatically you inspire anyone listening to you to become a sannyasi. Just sharing your sannyas experience is what you need to do to enrich and cause a new sannyasi. So, with that, we come to the end of today's session. And from today, you can start reaching out to everybody you know, whether it's uh, your friends, whether it is the people in your ecosystem, in your sangha, who you know that have the possibility and who you know have the intention to become a sannyasi. Just call them and start talking to all of them and enrich them to take up sannyas. So, with that, let's come to the end of today's session. So, this is the homework for all of the sannyas initiates today, is to call at least 21 people and talk to them about sannyas and enrich them and cause them to become sannyasis on Jan 3rd, 2025 on Avatar Day, on Nityananda Day. So with that, let's conclude today's session with the Purna Mantra. I request all the sannyas initiates to please sit straight, place your hands in the Atmanjali Mudra and close your eyes. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Bhagavat Shri Nityananda Paramashiva Padukarpanamastu Om Nityanandam.
I welcome you all with my love and respect. Let you all open all your three eyes. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham.